To Open in Indiana Networking on Zoom. We're here to learn about each other's business and find out how we can be stronger advocates for each other's brand. So we have a fantastic speaker lined up today, Gina Covarrubias, and so I'm looking forward to hearing about her topic later in today's meeting. But first, we're going to go around and introduce everybody. So when I call on you, please introduce yourself, the business that you represent, what a good prospect looks like for you, and then today's icebreaker question, which is, what has been the highlight of your year so far? So the best thing to happen to you between today and January 1st of 2021. So I'll call on everyone one at a time. And Gina, since I see you in the top left corner, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you, Ryan, for that wonderful introduction. Nice to meet everybody here today. As Ryan said, my name is Gina Covarrubias. I am an engineering life coach, and the name of my business is called Deliberate Doing. My website is deliberatedoing.com. And what I do as an engineering life coach is I help engineers and other technical professionals defeat career despair, whether they are disappointed or unhappy, or they've been laid off, or they're just lost and stuck. So having been a former engineer, I understand how they feel. And thanks to my life coaching certification, I understand what it takes to get them out and to get them unstuck. You could think of me as a personal trainer for the mind. I basically give people a mental reboot is what I do. So my ideal prospect would be, honestly, anybody who is suffering in their professional job at the moment. The best thing that has happened to me yet this year, I got my car repaired. So on New Year's Eve, I went to get a very basic oil change at a place in Zionsville. The young kid backed my car up into a pole and destroyed my taillight and my bumper. And the process of getting it fixed and going through insurance was very painful. Nobody knew what the process was. Everybody was very disconnected and disjointed. And so I drove around for a whole month in January with a busted taillight and a cracked bumper. So I finally was able to get that fixed, thanks to my tenacity and working with these people and hounding these people the very last week of January. And I was very happy for that. And I didn't have to pay anything, which of course I shouldn't have, but it was not a fun experience. So I would say that's one of the best things that has happened to me this year.
Awesome. Thank you, Gina.
Yep.
Next, we have Bill.
Morning, Bill Hammond with Primerica Advisors. I'm basically your full service financial coach. Prospect, it's kind of a big spectrum of folks that I look for, but right now I'd really like to make a pitch as far as for those folks that are between age 50 and 65, especially those that might be at the high net worth. Considering that, we've got some great programs to help them make some decisions and put their money to work for them, and really just some great stuff that can take them to the next level as they get ready to retire and move on to that, maybe that special lake house or down to Florida or out to California or whatever. So I'm particularly looking for folks that are in the age bracket of 50 to 60, 64, 65, and that are in the high net worth, and that's basically anybody that might have $250,000 or more. That is the territory I'm looking at the people I'm looking at right now. So that's I'll just leave it right there with that, and hopefully you'll know somebody maybe hits the lottery in the next few days, or getting to ready to leave work and has a huge 401k that they would just like to put to work for them in a different way. Really trying to think of what's been going on. I guess the only thing I can really, mention is nothing for me or whatever, but of course, my wife, as some of you know, went through and broke her kneecap in 5 pieces, and that has turned out to be, yeah, Chester. It was turned out to be she has recovered quite well, and we're at the end of all of that. So I would say that that's a mission that is finally coming to a close, just like Gina was finally able to close up with the busted taillight and the broken bumper. We're going to finally be able to close that book on the busted kneecap and all of that fun and games of going through, emergency room and quite frankly, I didn't have much trouble with insurance because everything just worked great, even though I was transitioning from one insurance program to another one. Everything fell into place, no problems. I had a great broker I worked with, and I have worked with him for years. So things went well. And so we'll just sort of say that's probably the best thing that's happened. And I think at the end of, probably by the end of March, we're going to be at the end of it for sure. We're no more, we'll just go back to regular life.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. And everyone here has their fingers crossed that Eileen's recovery continues to improve.
I think it's going to be fine. I mean, it's, the healing process has been great, and all the doctor and the therapist are pleased. So we're just happy we're on the other end of it, and nothing fell through the cracks, because there's a friend of mine who had the same thing happen. They fell at work. Eileen didn't fall at work, but she fell at work. It was covered under workers' comp, which was okay. But it was a longer process that she had, and her doctor actually kept her off of the leg and being able to walk for about 2 to 3 weeks. Our doctor, our orthopedic surgeon, once he was done, the first things he said to me after he came out and talked was, get her up and start walking. So that's what we did, and I think that that helped with the recovery. So we're glad we had a kind of an aggressive orthopedic surgeon.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Chester.
Hello, my name is Chester Johnson. I am the founder of StockTeamUp.com. In terms of people we're looking for at this point, I'd say anyone, just try it out. It's a free social network. Give it a try, and then come on here and tell me what's wrong with it. I always love the feedback. For 2021, from a business aspect, I think my best moment was going to Miami, double masked for my partner. She would have killed me if I got COVID. The double masked, went on there, met with Wrap Snacks. They're a company that we work with. They're self-promotion right there. They're really great guys. They care very deeply about the African American community, and we've been working with them to bring in people to discuss investing and improve their wealth. So hence the 11,000 people. It was a great meeting. We had just a great discussion, and then one of my business partners also brought in some investment checks. So we're touching now $250,000 in our seed round. So it was just a really overall good experience going to Miami and meeting all my officers and talking to Wrap Snacks and not getting COVID. Good times.
Awesome. Thank you, Chester. Next, we have Kim.
Hi, good morning. I'm Kim Holt. I'm with Culligan Water down here in Franklin, Indiana. What we do is we help people get softer, smoother hair and skin fluff your laundry, and extend the life of their water-driven appliances. And we do that through a water softener. We rent those. You can purchase those. You can lease to own those for as little as $20 a month. So today I just wanted to talk to you just a nanosecond about PFOAs and PFOSs. These are upcoming in our water. They're showing up. They get into our city water through Teflon cookware, through stain retardant resistant carpets, fire retarding foams, and waterproofing. So these chemicals get down into our water, and they're called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. I see Gina shaking her head. She's heard these acronyms. Some of the ones in particular that are created from these chemicals are PFOAs and PFOSs. There's an IndyStar article that I've printed out, and they're dubbing these as forever chemicals. In other words, they're here to stay and they're going to be in your body forever. I can't make any medical claims, but I'm going to read you one line off of this IndyStar Forever Chemicals ad. It says, these chemicals often are called forever chemicals. They are linked to severe health impacts, including cholesterol and cancer. They also don't break down naturally, and they're seemingly everywhere. So one way to get rid of volatile organic compounds, or at least reduce them significantly, our measurement is 98.6% of those, is through a reverse osmosis drinking water system from Culligan Water. We are one of the very few manufacturers of a reverse osmosis unit that actually has a fourth port in our manifold. The fourth port is an optional place where the consumer can buy a specialty filter. In this case, the specialty filter is called a total defense filter. And that's what this, it even has its own brochure. This whole filter has its own brochure. And it says right here, by adding this total defense filter into your drinking water system, you are actually certifying your equipment through the Water Quality Association. That's WQA.
My guy only.
As reducing PFOAs and PFOSs. So that's a little bit about that. You can see me about those. A great customer for me would be anyone who owns a home and wants better quality water for drinking, or their working water for bathing and cleaning. So about the question, let's see. So I've got a couple of things. One of the best things that happened to me, both of them are very recent. So I'll tell you both. One of them is I'm redoing my living room. And so far, the design elements that I've chosen are really, really nice. I'm very pleased with them. But the one I was most scary about is the whole stair design. So right now you go up the steps, it's got a landing, and then there's another landing strip up there, and it was old white colonial looking. And my new design was farmhouse, modern farmhouse. So I had this design, and the stairs went in this weekend, and they're magnificent. They're not finished. I can't show you yet, but the design is extraordinary. It's honey colored basic wood with not metal. What do you call it? I can't think of the word. They look like metal newels. So that's one thing. The second thing that happened that I'm really excited about and pleased with and everything is it actually happened Saturday night. So as you know, many of you know, I'm planning my daughter's wedding, and as the mother of the bride, I'm responsible for food at the reception. And it was a struggle for me because food is not cheap. It's $20 to $30 a person. We've got 150 guests. And so it's a big expense. She decided this weekend, and we're moving forward with 2 pizza trucks. And the outline, the photographs from this, is it Brazzini's? Brazzini's, I think, is the name of the company. They bring out 2 trucks. They've serviced 150 guests before in a 30-minute period. And the display is just extraordinary the way they do it. And I'm so pleased and grateful and relieved that we now have a caterer for the wedding. So sorry, I had 2 answers. It's all good. Thank you.
Awesome. Kim, you'll have to make sure to get plenty of pictures to show us both of the wonderful wedding and how the pizza service goes at the reception.
Yep, I will.
Awesome. Next, we have Kristen.
Good morning, Kristen with Firestorm Restoration. We are your full service restoration company, doing everything and including the roof all the way down to your crawl space or basement. We do commercial and we do residential. We also carpet clean and clean up after trauma and meth. So if you ever find yourself in need, or your neighbors or know anyone that could use our services, we certainly would like to come out and see if we could be of service to them. We offer free estimates, free quotes. We'll do the job right there if you'd like us to do it. Just let us know how we can be of service. If anybody would happen to know any insurance adjusters, that would be a good contact for me, maybe a warm welcome. Not public adjusters, but insurance adjusters. And as far as the question goes, I would have to say that I had a birthday in May, so I'm embracing every year, I guess. And going forward, my girls and I are going to drive down to Destin, Florida this Thursday. So it's either going to be a really long trip or it's going to be a fun trip, but I'm hoping for the latter. So that's the next big exciting thing that I'm grateful for, is we're going to go and just sit on the beach for a while. So if you find yourself in any restoration services or any needs, please feel free to reach out. I put my information in the chat and we'd love to come and be of service to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Next, we have Sharon.
I'm Sharon Schweitzer with BioWays of Central Indiana. I hope I'm coming through. My Wi-Fi is a little bit iffy right now. Great. We listen to the wisdom of your body. I'm a biodynamic craniosacral therapist and wiggly waves therapist, which both work with your body's nervous system in a holistic way. So I look for people right now who have experienced some kind of trauma. It can be physical trauma, emotional trauma, relational, social trauma, any kind. And also anyone who has been experiencing pain for a long extended period of time. Those are the people I look for right now, because those are the people I enjoy working with, because I really love seeing people get better and not be in pain anymore. And what was the question again, Ryan? Sorry. My year so far. Well, I guess that nothing bad has happened, like another pandemic or global anything. So just day by day, keep going towards hopefully a better tomorrow. And so yeah, nothing really big. So I'd say nothing bad. Oh, and one thing that I could ask for is if anyone knows a veterinarian. I also work with dogs, and we're looking for a warm introduction to a veterinarian here in Central Indiana that I could sit down with. I'm not selling anything. They always have a lot of gatekeepers. That's why I want a warm introduction, and just chat with them for a minute. And if they are along the lines of holistic, then that might be, but really any vet right now, I would like to talk.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Ryan Henry, idea guy for Open in Indiana, and our job is to help promote these small businesses throughout the state. So I'm looking for introductions to small business owners who are doing something that they're passionate about, and that they're looking for ways to get the word out to their ideal customer. To answer today's question, the highlight of my year so far was last Wednesday when we hit 70 degrees. In fact, I spent a good chunk of the morning out on the front porch. If you attended Mike Crumbo's Business First last week, that's where I was sitting at, enjoying the weather. So I look forward to more of those days. I don't like winter more and more every year. So every year I look forward to that first day that it's really nice outside. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our speaker today. Let me enable her ability to share her screen. Gina Covarrubias, owner of Deliberate Doing.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And unlike you, Ryan, I have to admit, I am not ready for the warm weather. I actually would like more snow. I think it's too soon to be this warm, but I kind of like winter. So, so that's me. Okay, let me move my video here and
I like winter too.
and Sharon likes winter too. And can you just let me know, Ryan, that you could still hear me and see my slides moving? Everything's okay? Perfect, thank you. Okay, I'm really excited for today's presentation because I'm going to give your brain a mental workout today. My name is Gina Covarrubias, owner of Deliberate Doing. I am an engineering life coach. And we will go ahead and take a look at my outline for today. The title of my presentation is I'm Anxious About the Unknown Future. So we've been into COVID now for really over a year. And we've had elections that were very emotional for some people. It's been a really hard year for a lot of people. And what I want to talk to you about today is written here in the middle of the screen, how you can help yourself reconcile what is versus your expectations or versus what you want. So we have the what is in one category, that's reality. We've got your expectations in a whole nother category. Those are your wishes and your desires and the way you envision your life. And what I'm here to help you with today is how to bridge the gap between the two. Also, while you can live a healthy and productive life. So in section 1, I'm going to talk about this concept called your life curriculum. Section 2, we're going to talk about fact versus fiction. Why is that important? Section 3, I'm going to introduce a really great self-awareness tool that you can use in your life at any time, and I'll wrap it up with a great conclusion. So I want you to take a look at this picture here because you should pay attention to what I'm saying, and you're not going to absorb everything, most likely. I'm going to throw a lot at you today, but by the end of this presentation, your brain is going to be lifting some weights, and that's my goal. So let's get started. I want to introduce this concept called your life curriculum. So if all of you could ignore the slide for one moment and close your eyes if you need to, think about your first day in class. Usually what happens is the teacher or the professor hands out a course outline or a syllabus. And in this course outline, they lay out all the topics that you're going to cover, what the homeworks look like, when you're going to have your exams, and so forth. So this outline kind of tells you ahead of time, this is what you're responsible for the next 9 weeks, 18 weeks, what have you. So similar to a syllabus or course outline, each and every one of you have been given a life curriculum. And what I mean by that is the cards you've been dealt in life. So each and every one of us has a different curriculum that we have to manage in our daily lives. Your curriculum looks different from everybody else's. And in this curriculum, it includes all of the external situations and circumstances that are out there in the world, external to you, outside of your control. So in this table here, I've listed some examples, starting with the upper left. Other people in our lives are external to us. We have no control over them. As much as we would like to, we can't control other people. The words people say and the actions other people take, outside of our control. A diagnosis, our health, social issues, the news, all of these things are external to us, which once again means we have no control over them. And a few other things I've listed here, jobs and interviews and COVID, your whole past, people being born and people dying. External to you, we have no control over these items. Once again, these items, these externals, make up your life curriculum, and there are many more. So the takeaway from this slide is that your challenge, your day-to-day challenge, is to interpret your given curriculum. So let's talk about that. Your life curriculum, all of these externals outside of you are neutral. They mean nothing. They just exist out there in the world until your brain has a thought about them, until your brain interprets these curriculums. So your brain is going to think of COVID and it's going to say, COVID's bad. It's going to think about the elections and say, the elections were good, or the elections were bad, or this is great, or this is terrible, and on and on and on. So your thoughts constitute your interpretation of all these neutral situations going on around you. Your brain's job is to assign a meaning to all of your situations, and we call those beliefs. Okay, so your beliefs are chosen by you, and your beliefs are the way you interpret the world around you. So let's move to the next slide, because I want to talk about, this is how we trip ourselves up in life. So we start generating beliefs and thoughts, and I call that narrative or self-talk, starting with number 1. With number 2, we actually believe some of this narrative and this self-talk is factual. We believe it to be true in the world. And then number 3, we start living our lives based on this self-talk or this narrative that we think is factual. So I've listed a couple of common examples here. The first one, my future's been ruined. I got laid off from my job because of COVID, or I couldn't get hired because of COVID. Now my future's ruined. What am I going to do? Second example, the world is so unstable right now. The world is going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, we tell ourselves these things and we believe them to be true. And the third one, this wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be this way. This is not what I planned for, and on and on and on. And we live our lives believing this is the truth. And the takeaway from this slide here is that what we're doing is we're causing ourselves unnecessary pain and suffering because we're believing things to be true when they're really not. There's a big difference between fact and belief, or what I call fact versus fiction. So if you could understand how to separate the two, that exercise in and of itself could change your whole world. So we'll go through a couple of examples right now of what that might look like. Example of some narratives that I've heard recently from some people. Number 1, COVID has ruined my future. So people walk around believing this as if it's a fact, as if they're reporting the news. Number 2, masks protect people, or masks don't protect people. So we all have our own opinions, right, on the role of masks in the world of COVID. And everybody believes that they're right. Number 3, this is a dark day for democracy. I heard somebody on the news say this on January 6th, when Capitol Hill was invaded by people who were rioting against our democratic system. So they had the news coverage for the day, and at one point I heard someone say, this is a dark day for democracy. And that stuck with me. I kind of had to chuckle, actually. Number 4, my future looks unstable. I just don't know what's going to happen. It's been ruined. I didn't plan for this. The future is unstable. So these are very common examples of beliefs that we tell ourselves that we think are true. And I'm here to tell you they're not. These are your subjective opinions. These are fictitious narratives based on your opinion. So now on the next slide, I'm going to show you a side-by-side, and I'm going to pull out the fact. So starting with number 1, instead of telling yourself COVID has ruined my future, actually the truth is that COVID has changed your future. Doesn't mean it's been ruined. It's just been changed. It's just going to be different. Number two, whether or not you believe masks protect. Look, the fact is there is no medically universal agreement on what kind of mask you should use, how many masks you should use, what it should be made out of, how far apart you should be from other people, and on and on. There is no standard. Okay, that's the fact. Number three, it's not a fact that this was a dark day for democracy. It was just a human day. It was another day in our democracy. The day before was a human day, and the day after was another human day. Okay, so the news likes to create drama. They want your attention, and that's one way they do it. Number four, instead of believing your future looks unstable, maybe you could instead believe the future is actually always unknown. You can plan, and you can plan as diligently as you want to. The truth is, you really don't know what's going to happen. And that's a fact. That's always true. So on the left, we have subjective opinions. On the right, we have those opinions that are restated as objective facts. Okay, facts are undisputable and objective. Separate fact from fiction before you decide what to believe. Don't just take every thought your brain offers you and believe it to be fact. This is a really important tool, once again, that could really change your life. So separate your narrative from the actual truth before you decide what it is you want to believe. Now in section 3, I'm going to introduce a really cool self-awareness tool to you. Now, if you look at this picture says thoughts create your feelings, feelings drive your behaviors, and your behaviors reinforce your thoughts. This is cognitive science here. And so what I'm introducing to you is called the STEER energetic framework. So starting at the top, the S stands for situations. So I just taught you about situations. They're external to you, they're out there in the world, they're neutral. They mean nothing until your brain has a thought about them. So that's what the S and the T stand for. Your thoughts generate an energy inside of you or an emotion inside of you. And that energy fuels your actions. So you're going to act or you're not going to act based on this energy that you've generated for yourself that came from your thoughts. When you take a look at all of your actions or all of your inactions and put them all together, that creates your reality for you. So the big takeaway from this slide is that your thoughts and your beliefs propagate your reality. Everything starts with what you're believing up here. Therefore, it is very important to make that distinction between fact and fiction, or narrative and truth. And sometimes I like to refer to the narrative or fiction as head trash. Sometimes we feed ourselves a lot of junk up here, and then we make ourselves miserable because we believe that junk. So I'm going to walk through 2 examples that will demonstrate how this framework works in our lives. Here's the first example. Perhaps you got a job offer and they called you and said, sorry, we can't hire you. We don't have the budget. So there are many different ways you could interpret that situation. Okay, once again, that situation is neutral. It means nothing until you assign a meaning to it. Here's one thought you potentially could have. You could say, this was not part of my plan. I did not want this to happen. This is terrible. This is awful, and on and on and on. What that's going to do for you is cause most likely anxiety and paranoia. And from that energy of anxiety and paranoia, how might you act? Here are a few examples under actions. You're going to gather evidence to prove to yourself that everything has gone wrong. You're going to blame. You're going to blame the employer. You're going to blame COVID. You're probably going to dwell on worst case scenario. And you're probably going to have a lot of self-doubt. And you're probably going to question yourself. And your self-confidence will probably go down because you're believing this thought, this was not part of my plan. The reality that all these actions are creating for you is that it's reinforcing and it's recycling this negative belief when you tell yourself this was not part of my plan. And so you perpetuate the vicious cycle. The big takeaway here is that the energy, the anxiety, and the paranoia are not due to the situation that your job offer was rescinded. They're due to the thought, this was not part of my plan. As I mentioned, you could have interpreted this many different ways. We're going to take a look at a different belief that you could have. Same situation, job offer's been taken away. You could believe, I'm learning that sometimes plans work out and sometimes they don't. And from that belief, how are you going to feel? Probably neutral, probably even a little bit resilient. Based on neutral and resilient, how are you going to act? Well, you're probably going to create a plan B and put it into action. You're going to focus on things that you can control. You're going to continue with your personal development instead of giving up or feeling sorry for yourself. And you're not going to quit. And as a result of those actions, you are learning how to adapt to your external surroundings. You're teaching yourself. You're learning as you go. This is one way to reconcile for yourself what is versus what you want in life. This is called self-awareness. And again, the acronym is STEER, and it's a framework that demonstrates to you how your thoughts and beliefs affect the rest of your life. So I'll walk you through another demonstration. The new situation is that you have an upcoming job interview, or for those of us here in the crowd, perhaps you have an upcoming meeting with a very important client. So one thought that you could have is, oh my gosh, what if I don't say the right things? What if I look stupid? What if? And that kind of mentality is going to generate worry and probably hypervigilance for you. And from that kind of energy, you're probably going to dwell on interview questions or questions that you should be asking them. You're probably going to rehearse too much before the interview. You're going to try to perfect your answers, and you're going to try to show up confidently. And the reality you're creating for yourself is you're probably going to show up desperate and maybe sounding a little bit programmed. So the takeaway here again is that your energy, worry, and hypervigilance does not come from the situation. It comes from your belief, what if I don't say the right things? What if I don't do the right things? So let's take a look at an alternate thought, an alternate belief that you could have in the same situation. You could think to yourself, I have so much to offer. I would be really valuable for this company or for this person. And it's probably going to make you feel powerful and energized. And from powerful and energized, how are you going to act? You're going to look forward to the interview. You're going to formulate insightful questions. You're going to approach this meeting as a two-way street. And you're going to show up with confidence. And the reality is that you get to be authentic and show how valuable you are. The energy, powerful and energized, don't come from the situation. They come from your thought, I have a lot to offer. I'd be really valuable. So that is how the STEER energetic framework works in our lives. It's a very simple tool you can use at any point in time. And all you have to do is fill in either the thought or the feeling, start with that, and then fill in the rest. And ask yourself, what does this lead to? What does that lead to? In conclusion, I want to first of all summarize what we learned today. Number one, your brain's job is to interpret your neutral life curriculum. Those are the externals handed to you. Number two, learn how to separate fact from fiction. In other words, don't believe everything at face value that your brain offers to you. Number three, steer your life to help yourself reconcile what is reality versus your expectations or your wishes. That's where a lot of us really get ourselves into trouble. We want things to be so different, and we fight with reality, and we try to change reality to make ourselves feel better. So the conclusion here is that when you fight reality, you suffer unnecessarily. You're causing yourself a lot of pain. What you should try to do is adapt your brain to the world around you rather than trying to change the world to adapt to your wishes. And at the bottom here, I listed a question that you could ask yourself if you're in a tough position, or if you feel stuck, or if you find yourself blaming, or if you find yourself acting in a way you don't want to be acting. Try asking yourself, am I judging right now, or am I helping? If I am judging, what can I do to get out of this? How can I be great? What does great look like right now? And the last thing I want to leave you with is this quote here at the bottom, that life is really not about what the future brings to you. It's about what you're bringing to it. What kind of mentality, what kind of experience, what kind of person do you want to be in your future? It's completely up to you. So I want to say thank you for joining me today for my presentation. I welcome your feedback, any questions or comments. You can get a hold of me at gina@deliberatedoing.com. I have a monthly wellness newsletter that I send out. You can sign up for that on my website. I would also love to connect with everybody on LinkedIn if we're not already connected. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you once again, everybody, for joining me today. With that, I will stop sharing my slides and hand it back over to Ryan.
Awesome. Well, does anyone have questions for Gina?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. Thank you very much. That was much needed today. Thank you. I'm going to sign up for that newsletter.
You're welcome.
Do you know Mindy Epstein?
I do not.
She's the CEO and founder of Women, not Women in Business. What is it, Kristen? Top Floor Women. Sorry, Top Floor Women. So if you'll write her name down, it's Mindy with an I, M-I-N-D-I.
Okay.
Epstein, E-P-S-T-E-I-N, Epstein.
Uh-huh.
Top Floor Women. So Kristen and I monthly on the first Wednesday of every month attend. Right now it's on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
Set to go live, I think in May, maybe April. And I think you would be an excellent speaker at that venue, and you get to meet so many incredible women who share in the belief and the positivity of business and I can't talk, positivity. So if you would reach out to her, you can use my name, Kim at Culligan. That's all you have to say. She knows me, Kim at Culligan. Mention that I might want to be a speaker.
I really appreciate that. And I can't say thank you enough for that connection. I love speaking. It's one of the things I do besides coaching and teaching, of course. So I really appreciate that. And I will definitely reach out to her and mention your name, Kim. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have other questions for Gina? Comments? All right. Well, let's give Gina a big hand for her presentation today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your wonderful comment, Kim, again. I'm glad that I was able to lift your spirits here a little bit.
Awesome. Well, we have a long-lost friend who's joined us today, Christian Tombers. So, Christian, since you were not on during introductions, I'd like to offer you a moment to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you've been up to recently.
Well, thank you, Ryan. What I've been up to is too many pork and beans and not enough interaction with human beings. And been working on my business, working on my house, getting some stuff sold on eBay and on the Nextdoor app to create some room. My daughter doesn't want to have it all. And scheduled a live Zoom basics of sales workshop scheduled for the first Wednesday in April. That'd be April 7, I believe. And it's for an hour and a half, $99 with a lifetime monkey back guarantee. And either way, there's no risk. You either learn something that's going to make you more money, or you wind up getting a refund from me. So something to check into, and I'll have more details coming up on my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, emails, and so on and so forth. So I'm in the process of getting back out there to rebuild my business and get things up and going so that I can start promoting my product worldwide, for that matter. And that's where COVID actually became a good turn of events, because instead of having a live workshop in Westfield at a particular time, place, and location that people had to come to, I can now sell my product worldwide to any English speaking country, for that matter. So it's actually a good thing. It was a good kick in the butt to go in a different direction. And I'm also involved with two nonprofits, and also looking to get back into flying gliders on a regular basis, which is my hobby. My goal is to get my instructor's rating sometime this summer, and that'll be good because then I get to fly for free, because as an instructor, your student pays for the flight. So that's just in a nutshell what's going on with me. Still at home by myself with my imaginary cat, and looking to make this year a productive and successful year. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, Christian, welcome back. It's good to see you again. At this time, we have about 7 minutes till 12:30, so I'd like to give everyone an opportunity to share any events or announcements that they'd like to make. Not all at once now.
Sure. I have an event coming up this Friday. I am actually partnering with my yoga instructor, and we're going to talk about chronic pain management. And she is going to give some helpful physical demonstrations on what people can do and how they can move their bodies to help combat chronic pain. And I'm going to talk about what people can do mentally when they think about their chronic pain. So that's this Friday at noon. I do have a flyer that I've been distributing. I'm not sure how to get it to everybody here, but yeah. Okay. Okay, I can do that right now. Thank you for that. And I'm also speaking again on March 31st in the evening. I'm going to be talking about indecision, people pleasing, and self-confidence. And that one's a bit of a longer talk. It's about 45 minutes. So let me get these flyers here.
I needed you this last weekend, Gina.
Oh no.
I'm telling Kristen that I spent Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday with a terrible migraine. Almost went to the emergency
Oh
room.
yeah,
That's how bad it was.
that's terrible. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So how do we find out more about the 31st event?
I can find my flyer here, and I can attach that as well. And I can also email it to you too individually.
Okay, I would like that. So I put my email on there.
Perfect, thank you. I just have to find where I put them. Okay, here's one.
Awesome. And while Gina finds those files to put into the chat, does anyone have any other announcements or events they'd like to share? Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, yes, Christian.
I've got an event. I'm a co-host of a free networking event, and I suggest you don't go on this coming Friday because that's when Gina has hers. So it is every Friday. You can pick another time, and it is a local Indianapolis area online Zoom event. And the link for it is happyneighborhoodproject.com. You get an opportunity to meet online with anywhere from 8 to 12 local business people. And they currently have 50 of these workshops going all across the United States. So if you have a product or service that is not geographically limited, you can attend all the others, and there's no charge for it. And it is live. It is Friday from noon to 1. So don't have it interfere with Gina's program. And then you can do it every week. There's no obligation to attend every session. You can come and go as you like. It's just a great opportunity to get some free publicity for your business locally, and if so, even nationally. And it's happyneighborhoodproject.com, and then just search for the Indianapolis link. And then you can register and let them know that I'm the one that sent you. Typically, we have anywhere from 100 to 150 people signed up for it. About half of them show up for the event. So it's a great opportunity to meet some new business people and promote your business. And you're also allowed to put your contact information, business card information into their chat box. And there is also a way to copy that. Because if you go to the chat box, the bottom right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots. You click on that and it allows you to save into your computer everything that's in the chat box. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Christian. Quick reminder, coming up next week, the 22nd of March, our speakers for this meeting are going to be Dr. Rachel Holliday and Dr. Lindsay Moore Ostby, founders of Indie Direct Docs. So don't miss that meeting next week. And then coming up 2 weeks from today on March 29th, our speaker is going to be Denise Prahl, who is a referral marketing strategist at Whiteboard Learning, and she is going to share with us how to keep your funnel full. So don't miss that on the 29th. Looking ahead into April, our speaker on this meeting on the 5th of April is going to be Terry L. Moore, and she's going to share how to keep your vision in adversity. So don't miss those meetings. Let's see. Two other things I'd like to share. Next Thursday, the 25th, we're doing a webinar at 11 a.m. called Cool Things You Can Do on LinkedIn. This is a free 60-minute webinar where we're going to go through some of the things that LinkedIn's changed in the last year since our last webinar about it. And then coming up on the 26th, is going to be our 4th Friday meetup at Books and Brew down on Shelby Street across from University of Indianapolis. So that runs 4 p.m. to 6. It is an excellent venue with plenty of space, so we can all sit there safely and enjoy a drink to end the work week. So unless there are any other announcements or events, we will go ahead and wrap up for today. So everyone have a happy and productive and safe week. And hopefully we'll get back to sunshine here soon.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a good week.
Take care.
Bye.